Hi everyone, today I'm going to speak about chapter 12 and 13. Chapter 12 is dedicated to integrate trade. In international trade, the dominant position in early 19th century was based on absolute advantage. The idea that country doesn't have to trade with anyone unless it can produce any product cheaper than potential trade partner. Yet, a new theory discovered by David Ricardo states that a country should actually base its trading on the principle of comparative advantage, which states that a country can produce everything at cheapest, can still benefit from the trade with potential partners if it specializes in production where it can produce cheaper and import products which are more expensive in production. The theory was further developed into the Hatcher-Ohlin version of comparative advantage. This theory assumes that all countries have equal productive capabilities and they can use any technology as they want. The key difference is factor involvement. That is, if a country has more capital or labor. The biggest weakness of this theory is that it assumes that any country has technologies and capabilities to produce any product which requires the factor of the factor a country has. Thus, in theory, Guatemala can produce BMWs. The theory also assumes that all capital and labor are homogeneous and can be used in any activity. And the benefits of international trade can be summarized in this picture. Trade gives an access to big international market where a company and the country can sell more of its products. More production means economics of scale. A large quality of production lowers the costs. International trade increases the competition, which forces producers to be more efficient. Competition also encourages producers to develop new ideas, new technologies, designs, and managerial practices. One of indicators which reflect the trade problems in balance of payments. A balance of payments is the statement which shows how much a country is in deficit or surplus of its transactions with the rest of the world. When a country imports more than it exports, it has a negative trade balance or trade deficit. When it exports more than imports, it's said to have a positive trade balance or trade surplus. The balance of payments also includes such components as income, workers' remittance from abroad, foreign aid, capital transfers, investment in non-financial assets, and portfolio investments. Another indicator which displays the trade is trade dependence ratio, which is the average of exports to GDP and exports to and import to GDP ratios. This map shows the ratio based on World Bank data for 2018, shows how dependent a country is on trade. The darker the color on map, the more dependent a country is on trade. USA had a ratio of 28% and Japan had a ratio of 37%, which indicates low dependence on trade. While the United Arab Emirates had a ratio of 162% and Singapore had a ratio of 326 in 2018. Uh, which indicates high dependence of trade. The new tendencies which occurred with the spread of international trade include transnational corporations, remittance and immigrations. Um, Transnational corporations is a company which is involved in production, foreign investment, or have assets and income in more than one country. TNCs have a positive effect on local economy through training of local employees, improved business ethics and international standards and new careers opportunities in international workplace for local people. Coca-Cola, Google, McDonald's are the examples of TNC. Remittance refer to transfers of money by by national who works in a foreign country back to its native country. Such countries as China and India from uh, remittance sent by their citizens from abroad. Um, which China receives 67 billion dollars and India receiving 79 billion dollars in remittance. Immigration is another tendency where people are moving from one country to another for work, education, or other purposes. When educated and highly skilled workers leave their native country to work in a different country, it means the loss of educated people for native country, which is called brain drain. For foreign country which receives educated workers, the situation is called brain gain, as good workers now work for a country. The last chapter of this book is dedicated to the summary of how to apply economics in real world. The author stressed the fact that the world of economics is complex and cannot be explained fully with the theory. That is why economists need to combine several theories to explain the complexity of this world and shouldn't focus on the theory. Economic indicators such as GDP and unemployment rate highly depend on how the calculation of these indicators is constructed. This means that it's not possible to use the indicators without in-depth analysis. Thank you for attention, and this is the end of my speech.